Welcome, this is Celeste, aka Joanna, singing a little bit of In Excess. I love that song, Mystify. Mystify, mystify me. I was foraging this morning and just looking and taking some beautiful time for some flowers in the garden. And I found some beautiful lavender. And just one little sprig, if you can just see like one tiny little sprig of the lavender, just even one little thing. And you can just like rub it on your neck and you get the most amazing fragrances. They're so powerful and it's so very good for your senses and just to calm your body down. So lavender, I sometimes, if I'm outside going for walks, I'll just put some in my hair, just to feel, like a little fairy. But they're so beautiful and they're just so fragrant. So really take advantage of Gaia and all that she offers just to kind of bring your energy into different, and just into different threads of vibration. Look at how beautiful that is. Just even one of those tiny little things. Isn't that gorgeous? The tiny little thing, you take one of those little flowers and it will last for hours. So beautiful. And then you can just like rub it on your neck and just have beautiful little fairy fun with it. And you'll smell like lavender. It's so beautiful. It kind of broke when I put it in my purse. But it's so beautiful, and this is lavender. It's gorgeous. And it's used a lot in essential oils and, of course, soaps and beauty products. And lavender is very lush and abundant on our planet in warmer climates. And so you see beautiful lavender fields when I was traveling through Europe and traveling through Peru. And they have beautiful lavender fields where they collect the lavender from way up on the side of the mountains and they bring it down to their markets. And they sell them. Sometimes they sell them dry, and sometimes they sell them just picked like this because the women and the elders make it into essential oils, and you can even do tonics, lavender tonics. So I'm going to be doing some tonic shows down the road because I just love herbs. And there's lots of beautiful ideas that I have for just assisting humanity to wake up to the natural remedies and the shamanic herbal remedies that we have with our herbs and our flowers. Flowers are so very beautiful in so many ways. They assist us in healing and they assist us in recalibrating our bodies. And you can just the beauty that Gaia offers us is just to set you on a different frequency. And then I found this beautiful little apple tree. So I have a snack for this afternoon. Two little cute little apples. Two little tiny little beauty apples. They were like in the tree going, pick me. The other ones weren't quite ready. I mean, they're very sour, but I don't mind. But they're just beautiful. But there's just the beauty that Gaia offers us. So I recommend. And then the blackberries. I have a couple of videos on my channel about the blackberries because I was foraging for blackberries a couple of years ago when I would do my fasting. And spirit would just get me used to just living off the land and whatever I could find and I could eat. And so I've found a couple of really great places for blackberry bushes, and they should be just about ready to pick in another week or two because it's been so warm here. So we're really, really happy about, just the stuff you can find on your walks every day. So take a little Tupperware bin with you in your backpack and, pick some berries and go wash them and look up some beautiful tonics you can make. You can make blackberry tonics as well. Anything with the berries that are a bright purple or a bright blue, they usually have a lot of antioxidants. It's really good for the immune system and rebuilding the cells, cell regeneration. So it's really good to have a lot of berries, and you can even do tonics with lavender. And so, you create tonics instead of, the pop. Pop is so sugary and stuff. Get rid of pop, and maybe that can be a higher vibrational additive that you can create for your ascension path work as part of your multidimensional healing, part of your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual health, right? And have that as a goal, just to take out the sugary stuff and bring in more natural stuff that you find on the earth. So it's really good to get as much as you can from the earth because she does give us so much. Thank you to everybody for joining us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our notes. I'm really challenging myself, and and my teams are working with me because I do have a whole bunch of new teams, and I want to work on my new gifts and skills and talents of my clairs. We're going to go over the clairs one more time, and we're going to talk about what happens in a normal ascension cycle, and if you're heeding your divine higher self, which is how you should always be aligning, is your divine higher self. And so in your alignment of your divine higher self, that is your guidance for how you move and navigate your path. Your higher self allows you to have communication and setting up with all your celestials, right? Because your higher self has access to all of your celestials. It doesn't matter what dimension they're on. You have usually, depending on what your soul's blueprint is, if your soul's blueprint is to kind of serve the collective, you're going to have a lot of guides and you're going to have a lot of protection. I talk about ascension on my channel here, consciousness. And so if you need any more information on that, you can just go back and look at the information on my channel and look up some videos. I talk a lot about our celestial families and unity and oneness and our consciousness. And so in the normal ascension path work, when you're doing every cycle of ascension, knowing your cycle of ascension is really important, because you get used to when you're purging, sometimes it's around the moon cycles. And so this is why I'm always a great proponent of journaling, because you get used to your ascension cycles, you get used to when you're more emotional, so that you can pull up those moments of those psyche experiences where you know that you're going to have triggers, you're going to be a little bit more sensitive, and just be ready for those triggers to come up. And now that you know how to honor the shadow, you honor those aspects of yourself that are coming up to be purged and reintegrated. The more soul infused you are, the more benevolently intelligent you are. Because the whole point of doing your soul integration is that you become a holistic being. And that is becoming the master. That is allowing yourself to align to your light body, to your Merkaba. When it's fully activated at 51%, you're able to ascend into the highest dimension possible, which would be a fifth dimension for us. So that is the process of ascension, is kind of reclaiming those psyche experiences, what's in that psyche experience for that lesson, what's in this psyche experience is coming forward for you to own and claim. And many of the divine masculines are working on rejection, understanding, as we did a few videos ago about the true understanding, true meaning of power, and redefining it for yourself. And I had a beautiful download the other day. And we were just pondering some of the challenges that divine masculine as a collective have in their healing, and understanding the variations, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, understanding their variations of degrees of shame, and how shame is the opposite of self-love and self-acceptance. And so shame is usually triggered when you have not been accepted in the home. And then it kind of is an ostracization to that natural energy of who you were, and being ostracized or being judged or being, separated or discriminated in any way. And it's usually starts off very early in the home, because the parents usually try and guide you however they're brought up, of their intelligence and their, education that they've chosen to take on before having children. And their belief systems about what is normal, what is not normal, and what is conformed and what is not conformed. And so then usually they just do, and behave and have their patterns based on what's best for you. And usually, to follow in their footprints and to follow social norms. And that doesn't always work, because I did give that example from one of our videos about that very young boy. I can't remember the grade, but it was in early, I think it was grade school, like grade 7. And the boy had shot many people in the school. And then always quite disturbed about those stories about children that choose to do such horrible crimes, and where and how does it start in the psyche, and where is the boy's psychology in that state. And so I went and I did a bit of research, and I read some of the pathology research on that one boy. There wasn't much, and of course it wasn't a full psychological examination or assessment. They just gave a couple of paragraphs. And I said to my guides, I said, do you mind giving me more of a deeper pathology on this, because there's some stuff missing here, and I'd like to put some, connect some of the dots. And just truly understanding why it's important for us to change and alter who we are and what exists within us, and coming up with higher vibrational light intelligence and the acceptance of who we are, because we come from such a vast universe. We come from such vast DNA explorations and the DNA hybrid, agendas that I'm a part of. And it's really about the highest level of diversity for us to create unity and oneness, and a new creative beginning with the Christ consciousness of knowing that we're all one within our universe. That Christ consciousness light exploration allows us to truly read and be a part of celestial gifts, skills, and talents for us to connect at a DNA level and then bring it forward in whatever casing we have, whatever historical lineage, akashic, social experiences we have, whatever that DNA is activated from, however galactic threading and seeding it's been, because again, every star seed and every child is going to have a different DNA allocation for whatever star system they're in, based on the Father's divine plan to begin the higher integration of Christ consciousness into many different species. And so those are things we don't understand and we don't even have any clue about at Earth. And this is where my teachings are only offered through my channel. But we must understand it at a higher collective social exploration, because, and also too, that the counseling and the medicines and how we heal the children, nothing is ever touched in our social experience to what I talk about, and it's everything. You know, the DNA allocation to who somebody is and their personalities and their traits, if you will, and how they move about the exploration, expression, and healing of their psyche experiences. And if we take that one boy, for example, as a star seed, and he was ostracized at a very early age, so that allowed him to feel that separation, that he didn't belong and that he wasn't accepted in the family, which is at a very early age in a primordial experience. It's really quite needed, especially for children that are so highly creative. They want to know that their creative expression is everything, because it's their godliness. The creative expression is your godliness. And so we need to be very highly sensitive to the creative expression that each and every one of us have, just as I was, just as Jesus was, both discriminated in our unique rights of our own unique birth and our timelines. But we each have, and we're meant to, because God knows what God's doing, that our unique expression is going to be that catalyst of that quantum energy, that as I come forward and express my uniqueness, it's going to catalyze somebody else that feels that quantum vibration of pure Christed energy. And so when each of us do that, then it offers that higher vibrational authenticity and genuine expression of who we are. And it is a quantum essence. It is the Christ consciousness. You can actually feel it is an essence of Christ consciousness. So this is where I say that our channel is so different from all others, because I do offer that vibration. There is a vibrational offering, and there is vibrational codes that activate you. And even days later, you might have an activation, or you might go to sleep and then wake up feeling completely different, because the energies are moving as you're sleeping, because we activate things at a much deeper soul level. My channel does move things at a deeper level, because we talk about the soul itself, and I activate energies and the memories within the soul. That's what Christ consciousness does. It's pure crystalline light. So as we work with pure crystalline light, you're intending pure crystalline light, you're allowing yourself to become more and more in alignment of who you truly are and what exists within you and what you exist within in the greater whole. But if we take it back to that boy that didn't have that opportunity, Spirit had also showed me that that boy was not only ostracized in the home, and they did show me that it was at the parental father level, that some of the wounding did happen and did occur, that there was also molestation. And so that boy initially internally felt that it was unsafe within itself in its expression. And then when it came forward to express itself in however it needed to, because of its not feeling safe and because of its not feeling accepted in the home for its creative individuality and for its essence of being, and then to be molested so that the physical body was not safe and the emotional body and the creative body was not safe. So what else, what did it have to do? And in those flight or flight experiences, if there are mirrored experiences, because the boy carried around those aspects of no sense of self and shame and guilt, because that's what occurs when a child gets molested, and that's what happens when a child gets sexually abused. And it also what happens on the psyche imprints and the psyche bruises, if you will, what happens when there is the emotional and mental ostracization in the home. So those are imprints that occur on the field, and they just show up as little dark shadows on the imprint of the field. But as the boy's walking through life, those are the shadows that are pressed out to creation. So that boy's gonna attract that back until those are healed. And so these energies that are in that little boy's field are attracted in those relationships that, of course, it goes to school and it finds similar energies of not being accepted in the school, because it's carrying around those vibrations of itself. And it didn't have that asking of it, but those were energies of, again, the unhealed parents in the home, not treating that child with its utmost care and benevolence and honoring and safety of it. And therefore creating the warped intrusions of itself, because the first experiences we have is who am I in this beautiful godly design to the all I am presence, and that's the I am that I am, right? So who is the I am of who I am? Who is the me of I am in the grander I am that I am? And that is becoming godliness that we try reharmonize in our practices, is we're reharmonizing the spirit back into all things now, which were never taught that at the earliest of ages. So now that this boy had these early childhood experiences in the home, it was then mirrored in the schools because they were already carrying those imprints by the images of abuse that were happening in the home. So if these are not healed at an early issue, the boy will walk around with these, until they're an adult, until they're healed. And then they'll still keep attracting. And this is what we find with a lot of the underground and a lot of the divine masculine energies that had started, the trafficking explorations, because they were finding their sexuality so repressed because of their own sexual wounding and their own sexual ostracization. And because, again, as we've talked about the trans experiences, it's very normal to have those movements of energy that you have to have in allowing yourself to clear those energies and explore those energies to become a fully integrated androgynous being, which is what we'll be in 5D, where your divine feminine energies are fully integrated, your divine masculine energies are fully integrated. And so you're allowing yourself to stand in those energies and be fully integrated and have it not mean anything, because, again, they're old social norms that are very discriminatory and very separative. And so in looking at how discrimination has challenged us and ruined us, how discrimination has brought in a lot of the hate and the wars and the brutality and the violence that's unnecessary on every level, you just want to love your kids. It doesn't matter what they choose, because they're here to be a mirror for you, to allow yourself that greater leniency and that greater acceptance and unconditional radical self-love. And even if your child chose to be something and to explore something, you wouldn't love them any less. You just want to love them. And that's where we're allowing ourselves to fall in love with ourselves again, and know that it's very, very important that we allow the natural flow of the soul's journey. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to remain as their exploration, but they need the ability to explore it nonetheless. It's been brought up forward because they're healing those karmic energies where their lineages behind them, especially divine masculines, were so suppressed and repressed. They were never dealing with their sexual transgressions and their sexual repressions and sexual suppressions. And so these children nowadays are more translateral. These children nowadays are exploring being gay and non-binary and all of these things they want to explore, no matter how they choose to define it, no matter how they choose to label it. That's up to them. And it's not up to us to judge or discriminate and put into any more boxes. That's, as I bring forward the higher vibrational understanding so that we can release judgment and discrimination, and we can have a higher vibrational understanding. So go to that video that I did about trans and what that means at a 5D level, and how it's easier flowing back and forth in these beings like myself and a lot of the children. We have a great ease going back and forth between our divine feminine masculine energies. It doesn't, because it's such a low consciousness, how it's perceived in the collective is a sexual gender experience, but it's not. It's just a matter of the energy and the energy and the signature that moves through your body can either be divine feminine or divine masculine, and how that signature of energy moves to the axional lines and moves throughout the back and forth energy of the kundalini. Some children have it very easy. They're very fluid between their masculine and feminine energies. It's needed because, again, the damages and the repressions on our planet up till now have been so misogynistic, even from when Jesus was discriminated. Jesus showed a very strong balance in his divine feminine energies. That's why he was able to create the miracles that he did. His energy healing, how he was able to heal, how he was able to create those energies was because he was so balanced in his divine feminine energies. He had to be. There's no way he could have performed those miracles without being in his divine feminine energy to allow the flow of energy of Source Creator. So he had to be very, very balanced in that. And for those that were on the misogynistic side of those that were crucifying him, they were very, misogynistic in their beliefs and their bigotry about how and who and what should be at the front of the pulpit speaking about God and how it should be spoken. And again, we're releasing ourselves from those stories and those lineage suppressions and subjugations, because it's not it at all. That's just keeping us stuffed in little boxes that don't resolve the global and the collective issues, which we're dealing with right now. The satanic cults and covens that sacrifice and practice rituals to deities to provide them something is never going to be the answer, and they'll always fail. They will always come up short. They will always come up with failed sacrifices. They will always come up with wasting money, wasting time, wasting energy, because the beliefs are not correct. The beliefs are wrong beliefs. These deities will not get them what they think they're going to get them, because they're behaving from a very wounded state and point of view. And who's ever telling these cults and covens to do and how to do and to be guided into certain rituals and certain practices, they're not being guided in the highest level of intelligence. And so there's a lot of towers that are occurring. So what we're going to talk about today is the godliness in all the towers. So in your spiral of ascension, it's very apropos, if you will, is to get your journal and mark down those moments where, in those cycles within your cycles of when you're going through a purging, is when you have a soul trigger that's coming up for you to actually purge those energies. And so I gave you that one example of that little boy who's now in prison for life, because obviously he's taken lives of others that were in that school shooting that he took responsibility for. But there was also more behind that. And we also have to look at how and why and what we do, and how we behave in the home, and how those are imprints within the home. And it was so that part of that secondary conversation that I had with Spirit, which I wanted to bring forward to the Divine Masculine's explorations of their healing with shame and guilt, is the exploration of some of them, many of the collective did not grow up in a home where, I'm speaking of if you're in Divine Masculine and you're healing Divine Masculine energies. This goes to, for me as well, for Divine Feminine that is healing the Divine Masculine energies. So it goes both ways depending on what trigger you're healing and what body you're in. And those triggers for us, for me, we've talked about it many times, is the safety factor. Divine Masculine is representative of the safety, and the Divine Masculine standing in its power of itself to protect life and to really honor life. But the opposite end of that is why men haven't, and why men have gone in the opposite direction of debauchery and degrading life. Because if you're not protecting it, you're degrading it. And so that's why, understanding the opposites and how the psyche moves. Because some of these men that are now men in the collective that are going to be leaders in 5D, they grew up in homes where there was not a solid Divine Masculine that was showing them a positive imprint. Because remember, who am I? To the greater who am I? So if this child doesn't have an honoring role model of the Divine Feminine Masculine energies, of the yin yang being presented of itself within each other, and the home and the foundation of the home within each other, and the flow of natural energies of back and forth of Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, again, because if you're a heterosexual couple, you're going to be sharing those energies back and forth in your healing process, and the child will see that it's okay to move back and forth. If the masculine gets sick and needs to do some healing on his Divine Feminine energies, the Divine Feminine will step up into more of a masculine role. And so it's very natural and functional for this child to see itself move in the yin yang experiences of taking turns and taking responsibility of those energies, and then being okay within itself to express it as well. So these are where we're heading to in 5D, is how to express it. And even if it's a same-sex experience, is allowing that child to see that they take turns in the Divine Feminine experiences and expressions. And so again, it doesn't matter what body that you're in, because again, your body is the definition of what you were born into. And as we discussed earlier in that trans video, it's a very complex situation that we're just tapping into from a fifth dimensional perspective and intelligence. Sometimes the bodies that we're in and the DNA allocation that we're born with, the more dominant and recessive genes that we're born with, they're meant to carry certain things from their soul's perspective. Their soul's perspective may have chosen, just like the more children that are being born now that are very fluid in their translateral experiences, they chose at a soul's expression to heal their lineage, akash, wounding, and karma, because they have repressed themselves in such sexual suppressions. So they've chosen experiences and explorations where whatever body and casing they were born in, to have it fly in the face of their elders and the social collective that needs to relax and allow the healing of humanity at a collective level to occur. So again, we're in a profound time of collective healing. And we're going to do more damage than good the more that we remain in discrimination and separation. These children are being brought forward in more and more androgyny every day, and because it's needed, because you can see what damage has been done in the misogyny, the discrimination, the ruling out and taking out of Divine Feminine. which is still a huge issue. There's still, as of, right now, there's still, the satanic, misogynistic, warped Mason groups that are doing everything they can and paying people to take me out, because they feel it's very wrong for a divine feminine to be speaking of and being in a leadership role to speak of the heavens and to give higher light vibrational information that is, if you're incorporating what we're offering as a teaching of light intelligence, because it is the highest light intelligence, right? Darkness is not intelligent. So, and darkness in your body will be disease and illness and separation from the spirit. Spirit is the light. So if you're not intending spirit to be the quickener, if you're not intending spirit in your alchemy, if you're not intending spirit with your breath, if you're not intending spirit in all that you are, then it is going to remain in that, just how your cells replicate. If you're not empowering your cells to replicate in light, your cells aren't going to replicate in light. Your cells are going to replicate how they've always replicated in past cycles. So this is where your light intelligence that you work with yourself offers all aspects of your multidimensionality: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual. And then you need to keep harmonizing it. And that's why we say keep your journaling, because you're going to see how advanced you're becoming in understanding who are you, what you exist with, and what's going on within you. And your ascension path work will show you what wounding am I looking at. You'll see the things you're manifesting in your creational reality. You'll see the correlation of whatever it is you're calling into yourself, whatever it is you're manifesting has to do with some of the psyche woundings, and also too the gifts that are representative of it. Which is why we always have the infinity, right? Because there is always an equal opposite. It shows you what your wounds are. It shows you what your gifts and skills are. So today we were going to talk about, I just wanted to give that exploration, because as you're writing down and doing your own healing, it's very important that you mark down and suss out. We're going to talk about and just focus on the energies and the vibrations of healing, shame and guilt, for all of our healing paths. And just see if I can find that piece of paper. And then we're going to talk about the godliness of towers, making lemonade out of lemons. I'm so sick of that cliche. I said to Spirit, I said to Father, I said, I understand that I know I'm really good at they always try and make it sound really important, right? So that I'm easing my way into what's coming next. I said, I know you're just building me up because you're going to throw a bunch of darkness at me again. And they said, but you're so good at making lemonade from lemons. And I said, I'm so sick of that cliche. Don't ever say that to me again. So as you're moving through these tower moments that are in the karmic patterning. So again, who are you? What exists when what exists in you? And why do you do what you do? Why are you patterned to do what you do? Where is this wounding of shame and guilt and dysfunction or codependency? All of these are negative parts of the karmic experience that need to be healed. As you heal this, you become more and more entrained in a higher vibration. As you become more and more entrained in a higher vibration, your soul core vibration is lifting up. Your base minimum or basal minimum oscillation of the cells, oscillation of your chakras is becoming ever more increased. But you can't be ever more increased unless you're clearing and you're doing your alchemy of all densities and all triggers that are coming forward. So we wanted to, as we're talking about our clairsentience and our clair gifts, are the opposite ends of those triggers that come up to be handled and dealt with by you, and integrating them, putting it on the table and working it out for yourself. And give yourself so much. I was talking to a beautiful gentleman last night, and I was, he was doing such great work in his ascension path work, and I was reminding him, just make sure you're giving yourself credit, because there's so much of the collective that hadn't stepped that far, to give themselves the opportunity to be approaching difficult topics and putting them on the table to sort out and to realign your day that serves your spirit and your soul. And that takes a lot of mastery. It takes a lot of guts. That's nobility, and that's bravery and courage to step outside of all social norms, where nobody in his friendship circle was doing the type of alignment of his day and his weeks coming forward would be more and more aligned with his spirit, more and more aligned with how he feels as a spirit, and he's awakening to himself more as a spirit. So I was really commending him. I said, just make sure you're giving yourself celebration on those things that you're doing that most of the collective isn't. And just understand that you're going to be a role model, and to know that, as you're logging it and as you're vlogging it or blogging it, or however you choose to share and express it, because that's the part about the gifts too, right? So if Spirit Source Creator is giving you all these downloads and all of these gifts that are in your field, You have to be able, it's like if all of these gifts that are being offered to you in your DNA activation or in your fields by your ancestors, and as you're clearing the density, that is part of the gift of God as part of the many heavens, is you're gifted all of these things that go in your toolkit, right? And that's up to you to pull them down and unpack them. So practice them, practice your clairs, which we're going to talk about today. But if you're not practicing, then they're gonna lose them and you're gonna turn them off. And it's the same with your Kundalini. So we have to understand how to use our light, how to work with our light, and therefore then activating the Kundalini and then using that Kundalini in a benevolent experience for yourself. And the Kundalini is a very powerful light energy source. So you can use your Kundalini for healing. You can use your Kundalini for, tantric sex. And tantric sex is, again, to be used responsibly. And we're seeing that when it's not used responsibly, with the negative outcome, right? Because if your intention is negative, if your intention is impaling it with manifesting off other people's energy, manifesting other people's names and energies, it causes a lot of psychosis break because you're intending something that's not you. It's completely skewed and warped energy practices. Never practice sex. Never practice the practice of sex and sharing your life force while you're thinking about and intending other people's names and energies. It's just a no-no. It's disrespectful to the one you're sharing your life force with, and you're also sending those energies and vibrations into that person that you're doing it to and with. And therefore they become very confused because you're meant to be sharing that life force of their life force with you and them. It's supposed to be a sacred connection. So if you're thinking about somebody else that's not the person you're sharing your life force with, they do get those vibrational imprints, and then they start feeling a no sense of self or a competition sense of self because it's not who they are. Because your sexual energies are not thinking about the person that you're with. So again, it's a dysfunctional life force experience, a negative life force experience, and therefore then you will both create that negative experience. And this is where I said for women, most importantly for the divine feminine, your sacred womb, for divine feminine to know that if you're allowing yourself to be impaled and used, if you will, by men that are not healed, by men that are don't care about you, you're going to have those energies in your womb, in your sacral, and some of them could come with entities. Because again, if you're allowing them to share your life force, and they're somebody that doesn't care about you and love you, or they're thinking about other women, or you know that they're dealing with other women, this is again why I don't agree with friends with benefit or poly. Because anytime that you're sharing your life force in different bodies and different vessels, you're sharing the life forces of everybody that person has been with, especially if they're not clearing and cleansing, which most aren't, especially if they don't have high regard for themselves or the people that they're with, if it's just sex, right? It's never just sex, by the way. So when somebody says it's just sex, it's never just sex. Life force is the highest gift that you have been given by Source Creator. And if it's not used in the importance of it is being the Kundalini energy of your life force, the manifestation power and the force of your life force, that's called life force, you're putting that force of energy into whatever your intentions are. And how do you manifest reality? Intention, direction, and focus. That's all you do in sex. When you're making love, it is the flow of those three energies. So if you're having sex with somebody and you're thinking about somebody else and you're moving in and out of that sexual intercourse experience and that pumping and grinding, that energy of that life force is going into this person, and by your thoughts and your intentions, your direction of your energy is somewhere else. So that's giving confusion and misguided. It's not love at all. It's just it's negative co-creation, and there will be a manifestation. And that is equally the same with, I wanted to put this in here because energy is everything and everything affects everything. Those women that choose to practice black magic and black occultism, make no mistake that as you are doing it, and if you so choose to continue doing the debaucherous sex rings and sex cults and share your life force and share your body, you absolutely know that if you are pregnant, you are impaling that baby with all of your black magic energies and your conjuring and all of the entity opportunities that baby is in the womb and in utero having. So just know that. And it's not just sex. You are now giving that baby full access to all of the darkness, to all of the demons and all of the entities that you are opening it up to share with irresponsibly and without care to the baby. And all women have to take greater responsibility for their womb. their very sacred womb, their sacred life force, how they share it and who they share it with, and the energies that are going into that being that is going to be pumping you inside and out. And then again, if you are pregnant, you are offering that child and that embryo those negative and confusing energies. So don't be surprised on the soul's journey that that soul will have, and you will be responsible for guiding and helping it. That's how you clear your karma, because you're already infusing it with karma the moment that you're using as a pregnant woman to do black magic while you are pregnant, and then to have unprotected sex or to share your life force with numerous men and not have it be sacred. So just know that. And so nobody is going to be clear of karma. When you choose to be irresponsible, when you choose to have irresponsible underground trafficking, sex ring, all of these experiences, every intention, direction, and focus, you are absolutely responsible for. Divine Feminine, if you are carrying children and you're doing irresponsible things, you are going to be a part of healing that karma with that child, and that's the child's contract with you. So whatever it is you're intending while that child is being carried by you, and that child is also, part of your responsibility after it comes out of you. So you're responsible for its health or non-health. You are responsible for that karmic story that you will play out with that child. Because it was your lack of responsibility, it was your lack of care for yourself, it was lack of self-love that you chose that child's contract. So just know that you're never going to be without that karmic story, because you have to look at why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing. Hello from Brazil. So again, all of these practices on our planet about energy in and of itself, the understanding of Source Creator, the understanding about energy, how you use it, and the vessel of your godliness, the more that you see yourself and act and behave yourself as godliness, you're going to have less and less issues because you're behaving from a state of self-love and self-care. You're not going to, be responsible. If you are excited and you're very virile as a man, and you do want to have, a beautiful physical connection with somebody, just say, you have that open responsibility and open discussion. And just say, I'm in between. I really like this other person. If I'm attracted to you and we have, sexual relations, you have to have those responsible conversations. If I was a mature soul, I would just hold off and self-pleasure yourself, because it's not worth the karma. It's not worth the karma. Go look at my channel. My name is there. So why would you be willing to take that karma on? If you're with somebody, you're not really in love with them. And when you're making love with them, it's not making love, it's sex, and it's never just sex. Because there will always be energy of your intention in it. Literally in it, figuratively in it. So why would you be willing to take that karma on? So we're all learning now, right? So don't feel guilt or shame. Just from here on out, be more responsible. And really, truly, self-pleasuring is just as sexually satisfying. It's even more sexually satisfying because you're actually creating better health, and you're not with somebody just to be with them to get your jack off and to get that orgasm, which is very short-lived. It's like 15 minutes. And again, that 15 minutes of jacking off and having your orgasm, is it really worth the karma? So we want to, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no judgment on it. There is actual consequences to everything that you do as a vessel, because everything is energy. There is always a quantum response to every molecule, every quark. Right? We're becoming quantum. So every quark of energy that you intend, that you direct and you focus on, it's going to have its equal opposite. Those that only intend negative, and wherever they do in their day and it's only negative, it's going to come back. So for you to counteract that, it has to be positive, and you have to say, okay, well, I actually want good karma now with a sexual partner. I want to care about somebody that cares about their sexual life force as much as I do. Because then when you do make love, and when that time is right, you're both going to be very ready for that, right? It's going to be great. It's going to be great sex, because you've both built yourself into that intention. It matters. How you play matters sexually. So again, it's understanding that everything has that consequence. You're not going to move from 3D to 5D without taking 100% ownership of your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. You have to understand your soul's experience. You have to understand the psyche and the traumas that you've created through lower vibrational mindsets. So own it. Just say, yeah, I had no idea this was this important. And now I see why I was manifesting what I was, right? You're manifesting very karmic people. You're manifesting people that don't care about you. You're manifesting people that don't have the depth of honor, for your love, the soul, that want to really love your soul, The soulmate that I have is I'm gonna really take great care and great pride in loving his soul, and waking up every day just showing him and I'm very expressive and I'm a very emotionally deep person, but I want to share that and I want to show that to my soulmate in the various physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual ways. And then it's a sacred journey, right? You get to show each other sacredly how you care for each other's souls. And you get to do it in a very sweet and vulnerable way, in a very fun and playful way, in a very virile, powerful way. There's so many different ways you can explore sacred becoming together, right? Coming together. When you're doing it with great intention and you're doing it with a responsible maturity, it's like, holy fuck, it's off the charts. It's not just remember, it's never just sex. Whatever you're intending, directing, and focusing, that is your manifestation. So be very wary, especially now that we're moving in a higher, faster oscillation. It's going to come back. So we wanted to talk about the godliness and towers, and we just want to know, we've given you the preamble about, cycles of ascension, getting your journals out and honoring the shadow, honoring what the shadow is showing you, honoring how you're feeling, you're sensing yourself through life, really getting responsible with your life force, how and when and why, and what you do and how you do and who you do it with, and then your intention, becoming very sacredly pure with the people that you are with. And it's going to be ever more important that the people you're with and the people that you're sharing and you're doing life force exchange with, it's going to become more and more toxic and more unhealthy if you continue to stay with people that you are not in love with. So if you know that you're not in love with somebody, your soul and your spirit will guide you in every moment and every hour, and your higher self will show you. Your higher self will give you synchronicities. Your higher self will keep guiding you. Don't stay with people that you are not in love with, because you're cheating yourself and you're cheating them, and you're creating a negative manifestation, whether it be illness of your life force energy and your sacral energies, or your sexual reproductive systems. And sometimes when women, there's a few energies of those that have not been able to get pregnant. Often, sometimes those that have not been able to get pregnant is because the people that they are with and themselves, their maturity level, they are not going to be given a starseed energy or a starseed role and a starseed DNA or a baby when they are not capable of even parenting themselves. There's going to be no more new life brought on for those people that abuse life. There just won't be. And that's I'm calling it for some of the people that have listened and some of the people that have been from those cults and covens. So if people are finding they're not being able to get pregnant and they have low numbers on your charts because you want to have babies, you're not, the heavens and the creation and your soul will not give you that. Why would it? The creation is very efficient. If you're not going to use your gifts, you will be taken. If you're going to use them and abuse them, they will be taken. Your skills and your gifts, if you think you're a magic or you think you're a magician, you think you're a warlock, you think you're this, that, and all you do is screw people over and rip people's lives apart, your gifts will be stripped from you. You think you're doing a magic spell, but you're not. You're not at all. Your gifts and skills will be stripped from you. And so just know that all of the magic that people are doing, you're getting karma. All your magic's going back to you. You are getting karma, and you are being investigated by Interpol. Because your hate crimes are not necessary on my channel, you can just choose to get off my channel. It's a free will channel. Of course, life is. So if you're not liking what you're hearing, you can just move on. So karma, please, Spirit, and to all of those that are sending and doing their little magic in the little chat rooms, whatever it is they're doing, their little voodoos and their voodoo dolls, put protection around those that are here to learn and those that are here to reconnect with Source Creator and understand higher consciousness learning, and release those people that are sending their magic and doing malevolent things, please. Send their magic back right away and immediately. The children will be protected, they will not. And they're not going to be allowed to cloak themselves in the children's energy. Strip all of these experiences from them, Spirit, where they're not facing their deeds. Strip it from them, and I'm calling judgment. This is thine voice. I'm calling judgment now, now, and now. All of your magic is returning to you now, now, and now. Anything that you send out to another is going back to you now, now, and now. So you want to keep coming on my channel and keep throwing your magic around, and you think that that's what you're getting paid for. You're getting karma. You will never come out of the mud zones, and you will be forever in the mud. You will be forever in hell. You will never come to light. You will never have a body of light. You will never incarnate to light because you've chosen it. Because that's what hate does. It keeps you in Epstein Earth hell. And those are just the laws. Those are just the truths of the quantum reality. You will never be somewhere light and blessed. You will never gain. You will never have benevolence. You will never have a great life because you will be diseased and you will be returning on all the deeds that you have done. And those people that go to their little cults and coven leaders and say, hey, I found a great starseed. What about this one? Oh, I really like that one. Let's get her along for the ride. Let's pull her into our group. Let's see if we can get her soul. Let's see if we can get her to deconstruct herself from Source Creator. There's actually conversations that these low vibrational dark people have, very Epstein-like agendas to break you and deconstruct you. And they start with your chakras, and they start with the little magic and the voodoo and the intimidation and the bullies in their streamlines, in the live streams, and all of these things that they do to deconstruct you. I am that I am, delighted ones, and nothing that you can do will allow me to go anywhere near you and to be a part of you. You can send your little sex magic all the time that you want, and how much money have you wasted? Calvary cult. How much money have you wasted on my money? How much my money have you wasted on all the government's money to do your sex spells and come hither spells because you want me to come crawling up to your door? Oh, let me be abused by you. Let me be abused by you. I want your misogyny to tell me how bad I am and put me in chains in a little cage so that you can break me and you can deconstruct me from my spirit. Are you kidding me? Seriously? That's your compass? You talk to each other every day about how you're going to break starseeds and how you're going to get souls? Seriously, that's your compass. Serious. I want everybody in their cults and covens. If you portend yourself to be anything of a human with intelligence, do the infinity, and I want you to put a negative and a neutral and a positive on the infinity. Whether you're getting money for whatever you're doing, your money is not going to do anything when you're diseased and you are filled with demons and you are smelling from the inside out because you have so many demons inside of you that are eating you from the inside out. What good is your money going to do you? What money is going to do you? And you're going to smell so that nobody's going to do you because you're not authentic. You're warped and you're grading yourself. There's an absolute no sense of self because you go home and you talk about how you're going to get starseeds and how you're going to get them into your little coven agendas and what are you going to do to them this week? You're going to go send somebody to go and take them out. You're going to do a malicious hit on this person because no matter what, you're going to get her. For one thing, the heavens would never let you because that's how degrading you are. And you've been told 18 bajillion times you won't touch me. And you're still not getting it. You're not getting it. How many times do you have to be told? I will not be touched and I will not be sacrificed. What you're doing is utterly wrong. And the more wrong it is, the bigger your karma is going to be and why you're going to manifest tower after tower after tower after tower after tower after tower after tower. You're not getting it. And whoever is the head of your Epstein agenda, you send that being to me and I will stand in front of you and you will stand in front of me. And I will read your very sad soul where you think that you're going to allow somebody like me to be deconstructed by you. My compass is God, the maker of all life. And within a breath, you are gone. That's how inconsequential your theories, your practices, and your wrong guidance to your covens are. And you have ruined a lot of lives, and I cannot wait for you to stand in front of me. I can't wait. And thine ranking will show the scales with Anubis. And you will never pass through my gates. And it doesn't matter how many mad scientists and how many voodoos and how much poison you put on people, because that's cowardly. The only way you can get people on your side is to poison them and to beat them up and to harm them and to rape them and then videotape them so that that's their blackmail bidding for you. How cowardly. The only way you can get people to join you is to mind scrape them and brainwash them. How cowardly. You're so wounded, and all we have asked for you is to heal your wounds. The only way you can get people to be with you is to have them poisoned and then do sexual videos with them so you can blackmail them and bribe them about what you've got on them, and you're gonna release it to the all if you don't do what we're gonna say you're gonna do. That's your compass. That's your horrible, distasteful, degrading, ugly, black temple of your compass. And you wonder why and how and where you're going to get so many towers and so much karma you will never see your way out of it, and you will stay forever in sludge. You will not see an ounce of light. And the alliance with light that people will be taught in higher light education and higher light wisdoms, and you will stand before them and they will not shake. You don't intimidate me. And you can send as many stalkers as you want, and you can do your clockwork and your magic all around the clock, and all you will do is bring your houses down, bring your bodies down, bring your bodies in illness, and bad luck after bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, because that's what you've wished on others, and it's coming back, and it's going to keep coming back hard and hard and hard. Because you don't play God, that ain't God. That's just pure evil. And you will never, ever have anyone like me. And you will never, ever be able to carry my gifts, because we've told you a million times. You at a very low 3D level, you're so low in 3D, you're almost 2D. Because it's such low consciousness, there is no way you could carry an ounce of my gifts. You wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to handle one multidimensional vision. Your brain would go into psychosis and you'd go into a mental hospital. I'm calling it right now. And why many of you will be going into mental hospitals. Because you haven't been doing your clearing, you haven't been doing your healing, and we're going forward in light, no matter whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. We will continue to move forward in light, and every day we're going to gain in light. And if you're not healing your psyche wounds, if you're not integrating your psyche wounds, you're not going to be able to keep up with the light, and you will go insane. On top of and in enhancing of already doing daily black magic. You're just enforcing mental degradation and dementia. And it's going to be studied. We will make new laws, there will be new research, and there will be new studies. And the policing and the leaderships and the communities and the judicial systems, we must get on board to do new research and new studying and new healing programs. Because 3D psychologists and 3D doctors, they don't know anything about the psyche, as we've discussed earlier with that little boy's case. Because had we known what multidimensional healing is, a lot of these children that were ostracized, we could heal them before they take a gun into the school. It's not necessary. Everything in humanity is healable. And there are some people that are so twisted and so warped and so disgustingly disconnected from spirit and all conscience, that they actually incite humans to be weapons. And they have them stalk innocent little divine feminine healers that come forward with the highest vibrational light wisdoms that as I speak, there's codes going into the universe. There are codes leaving my vessel out into the collective. That is spirit. Because what I say matters. It's very honoring to say what I say and to see what I see and then say it because I'm source. I've been blessed with that. And as the Father said to me that day where they gave me my initiation of such Messiah. And I walked around crying for quite some time in many lifetimes where I didn't feel worthy enough to carry such title. And the Father said, you have earned it. You have earned that title. Walk proudly in it. Because we are initiating you. And it's work. And it's devotion. And it's coming forward when nobody else would. And it's standing up when people said sit down. And it's speaking when people said shut up. And it's being a part of the voice of those people that didn't have it. And so if you think that you're going to stand in front of me and do your little voodoo hoodoo and do your little poisoning crap just to say that you're the only way that I can get me on your team is to poison me and blackmail me and do these horrible, horrible things that you're already plotting and planning, it's never going to work. You will fail every time. You will fail, you will fail, you will fail. And what is it and how are you? And is that your pride? Is that your little bar on your chest? The only way you can get somebody on your team is to poison them. You must be so proud. Why don't you go and get healed, you very empty, little small souls? There is guilt and shame inside of you that we can heal, because how you're moving about life is vile and degrading and disgusting, and you will always get caught. I guarantee it right now. Every movement and step forward that you make towards me to take me, to kidnap me, to poison me, to take me out on any of your plots and your plans or your schemes, every single one of you, you will be caught and your crime ring will come down and there will be nothing left of you and all of your money will go towards healing the children. And that, my friends, is a promise. That is in the collective grids right now. Corruption is done. Sit down and get healed, Satan. Because you ain't touching people and poisoning them on purpose and paying people to kill people to make it feel better for you because you want to push more crime and disconnection. No, how about you get healed? You're bully. And again, look at yourself in the mirror. The only way that you can get people is by poisoning them and voodooing them and sex magicking them and doing illegal taping and illegal abuse of information and illegal abuse of technology. And the governments have been knowing what's going on and the policing have been knowing what's going on and everybody's got their hands in it and it's all illegal as fuck. You all know what's going on. The only way that you can get a divine being so that they would stop speaking about your crimes, well, how about you just stop being a criminal? If you want me to stop talking about it and what you do behind closed doors, why don't you stop doing it? And stop being a criminal and put your money towards healing. How about you do that? How about you do something noble? How about you actually heal and do something noble? And then show people, wow, this is what I did. I was a super dark person and I was doing super dark things, but look at, we can do this. And you come up with a healing system that actually works for the collective. Why don't you do that? You could, there's always equal opportunity. Or you can just keep going with your cowardly story. The only way you get people is by hurting and harming them and poisoning them and luring them by manipulation and dark occult magic and dark empaths. So basically, you're liars, you're thieves, and you're killers of all spirit and life. You must feel very proud. You must be so ranked. That's your ranking? By poisoning people and by forcing them to death? Wow, that you're so ranked. No, you're just evil. You're not ranked on any level. Being ranked is actually standing up for life and protecting it. Because you're so wounded, you're not protecting life on any level. You're protecting your pockets and your bank. And this is why I say to all you little minions, your minions are going to take every hit that these people have been directing and inciting. Make no mistake about that. Every little minion, if you have somebody above you that's paying you, they will not look out for you. And they will not help you get out of your crimes and your deeds and your sentencing. They won't. So anybody that is in these cults and covens, you're given your last warning. You take your confessions to the police and to the authorities, and the authorities will make sure that it's going right. And if not, then the authorities, you're going to get karma too. There is no more corruption on my garden, dear lighted ones, and if you don't like my garden, get out. Because you forced your way into my lane, which means that I have an energetic signature in my field, your signature, because you forced your way into my lane, and you keep forcing your way into my lane when you stalk me, and you hack my devices, and you hack my family, and you do everything in your power to think that you're more powerful than me and play God over me and pimp daddy handler over me. You will never play pimp daddy handler over me. You will never control me. It's disgusting. It's vile. And you're being eaten by the demons from the inside out. It's illegal and it's criminal. So why are the criminals and why are such people allowed to walk around? Why is that? Why is that? Why does everybody have their hands in the juice and everybody's getting paid while the innocent people that are here to help the world, to help heal the world and lift people up? And why are we silenced and why are we treated like this every day? Where you got 20 people signing on, every 5 minutes, 20 people signing on. It's organized hate spirit. It's organized hate collective. It's organized hate policing. I'm calling judgment. I will have my rights. I will be who I will be. I will say what I will say. I have my rights to be exactly who I will be. I have codes and I'm going to keep teaching this planet and I'm going to keep lifting up the planet and I'm going to keep growing good seeds. And if you don't like it, you better stay out of my way because you're forcing your way into my lane, which means, you know what? You're giving me credit and you're giving me your okay that I've got your energetic signature and I'm going to send my ancestors after you.
because you forced your way into my lane when you were told 8 billion times, get out. You will not abuse me. You will not use me. You will not use my work. You've been told 8 bajillion times. You're not playing God over my energy, over my lineage, or over my soul or spirit. You will not touch me, and you have been told. There is a God, and wait for God to show you. You have been told, bullies of the playground. These are the most egregious of the most egregious. Little minions that you're being paid by. You're going to go on hell right with them. Or you take your confessions and you work, you clear your karma. It is that simple. If you're not going to clear your karma, you're going to stay in sludge and you will never come back in another body because there are no more 3D timelines. It is that simple. And that's your agenda. That's your compass. Just keeping more crime going so you can keep going to hell. That's your compass. Okay, and you know that's extinction, right? Because if there's no light, you do go extinct. If there's no light, you will never grow. There is no light, you will never evolve eternally. That's your compass? That's your compass. Your compass is to go to hell and to stay there. That's your compass. Because that's what you are when all you do is create hate and darkness and sacrifices and taking people out. There is only those three. You will never get to heaven. You will never get your free pass. You will never get a higher consciousness. You will never be blessed. You will never be ranked by doing this. You just won't. You won't, you won't, you won't. And anybody above you directing you to say that you're going to call on a deity to go and get the divine feminine healer because she's calling you out on your crimes, that ain't going to work. I'm put here to call out those crimes. That's my job. Because people in policing, people in the judicial, people in these so-called very elite, very ranked Masons that are ripping people off and playing, criminals and luring children into trafficking and luring children into drugs and guns. How is that protecting life? Because they're not healed. The collectives are not healed. We need to get people healed. It is the highest priority right now across all creation is to get humanity healed. The divine masculines are not protecting life. And where are the divine feminines? And these are the role models that the children have. And do you care? Do you care about your soul's evolution? Yes or no? Do you care about every thought, word, and deed that you have is also being played upon your children and their karma that they will have to clear? Do you care about that? Do you care that you're transferring your deeds as karma to your children? Sacrificing and practices of dark occultism and wasting people's lives and time and money to see how you can screw them over and derail them and take them out. You're paying people to kill people. You will never, ever, 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 ever come back in a higher vibrational body. You will never be ranked, ever. And doesn't it sound silly? The source creator of all life would ever rank you in killing people. And corrupt Epstein agendas that demonize humans and seek ways to deconstruct source, which is all life. Source is life. So if you deconstruct your belief and your knowing and your practice with source, if you choose, and there's many people that have because we see them on the line, it doesn't matter how many towers they get, they're still going to choose to bang their heads against the walls and be paid as minions by the Epstein agendas. And even if you show them, they're going to lose their house, they're going to lose everything. They're going to lose their house, they're going to lose their health, they're going to lose their children, they're going to lose all their money. So even their money doesn't make them happy anymore. Even their money isn't going to stand. They're going to lose everything. Because you cannot have life. You cannot have anything moving forward. You cannot have anything of anything if there is no source. And these people want to deconstruct source from you. They want you to deconstruct God from you. And we will be very surprised as source creator, as the Father has said, when it is found out, dear lighted ones, those 3 elite church and state that were responsible for paying YouTube to silence me and paying YouTube to have all of my views and my videos and my views of my videos pilfered, so much corruption. It will be very surprising to see who these 3 people and these elites of church and state of the soul harvesting that has been done on my life since the beginning. We already know that the government was involved, but we will be very surprised to find out who's behind those veils. Very, very surprised. Super surprised. No, I don't take shrooms. Okay, so we're going to talk about the godliness of tower moments and why you have tower moments, the redirection and recalibration, right? So every perspective that you have of your frequency and your new ascension cycle, you're going to have those triggers that come up. You're going to have those triggers come up to face and to integrate as part of your shadow. So when you're integrating your shadow, you become more light, right? Because you're accepting yourself. You're not repressing it. You're not suppressing it. Transcending the negative towers, every time that there's going to be a shift in energy, you have to recalibrate to the higher energy. So if you're moving along and you're still practicing the dark energies, you're still doing the same things, you're still doing your karmic patterns, you're not moving up in light, which means that you're going to get tower after tower after tower after tower. And it's not a light worker's problem. It's not a tarot reader's problem that the tarot reader is just calling out your choices. If you're choosing to stay negative when the majority of the collective is moving into positive light, you're going to keep getting towers. Because the quantum energies are not mixing, and therefore it's going to crash and have a tower. That's the quantum truth of what is going on. Our collective energies are rising. Our collective energies are rising, and as they are rising, as the collective dimensions are rising in light, everything that is not of that vibration, everything is not of that vibration, it's going to be in dissonance. Anything in dissonance, it's going to crash and create a tower. So if you're doing nothing but hate and demonic work, and it's not of this light, whether it's Gaia, whether it's the collective, whether it's the truth tellers, whether it's whistleblowers, because they're higher in light, they're going to come and give you a tower. And source creator and your soul is going to be behind it. Because you're not getting your lessons. So when you're getting your lessons, then you're going to say, okay, bring me that tower. How can I realign? How can I recalibrate? Tower moments are to recalibrate you. Every person on our planet has a sacred trinity. Their sacred trinity is their soul's blueprint. Who are you? What you exist with, what's going on with you, and all the realms you belong with, all the bodies that you belong in. Where is your learning and your growth with your divine feminine energy, divine masculine energies between your collective and the heavens, and who you are as a being of spirit. If you don't choose to have that important to you, you might want to get off my channel. And why would you be here? If your soul is not important, if your spirit is not important, you don't care about your progression through time, if you will, and you don't want to be a part of eternal life into 5D, because this is why we're here, and you don't choose to be a part of unity consciousness, you can move off my channel, because it's all we talk about here. We talk about how to move in understanding of the progression of your soul, how to understand the process of ascension, how to understand who you are, what you exist with, and what's going on within you as source creator, to have you in alignment of your divine Metatronic light, so that you can actually step up into who you are and be proud of who you are and honor who you are and release all separation and segregation. Because there are many spiritual wars going on right now for your energy and for your time and information. So, but if you know how to align with light, that's the title of my 4th book, if you are aligning with light and practicing what we teach, then nobody's going to have say over you and power over you. And it doesn't matter what silly little cult wants you, and it doesn't matter if there are billions across the planet of this silly little cult. They don't have an ounce of power over creation and the universal plan of ascension. It's the universe with billions of planets and galaxies. Incomprehensible. And these cults and covens are completely giving their minions wrong information. The universe is not going to care about your small beliefs about staying hateful. You'll be moved off into Epstein Earth. You're going to stay there in all the mud with all the other Epstein people that just want to hate and kill people. So you can go and kill people and hate people, and you can practice your little mad scientist being Frankenstein, whatever it is your little mad scientists think they're doing, to clone star seeds so that they can weaponize them. Okay, so now that all you've done is create hate and weaponizing, and all you've done is create more hate and weaponizing and Frankenstein people, and now that all you've done is create little wounded people that go out in the collective and hurt people, the little monsters that the collective leaders of the politicians and the elite soul harvesting groups are going to have to face. They've created these people that have been weaponized. They're going to have to face their deeds. They're going to be accountable. And Source Creator will make sure of it, that every single person will be accountable for what they've done. Whether it be a human agenda, whether it be human experimenting, whether it be MK Ultra, whether it be Project Stargate, whether it be whatever it is. Sending people to stalk somebody that's a complete innocent divine feminine healer, sending somebody to hack their computers, to hack their information, to falsify medical information, to falsify this and falsify that. You don't have any right to continually to bully and rip somebody's life apart and falsify claims and falsify fraud and falsify everything so that you can get them even arrested. Complete, utter false claims because you want them out of the way and you want them to stay silent. And we ask you one more time, you keep doing these things to take out the only light that is here, to take out the only people that are speaking of the wisdom, to keep humanity alive. And then what does that get you? Extinction. And is that your compass? Your money is not going to save you, dear lighted ones. Your money will not save you. Your soul will be eternally in mud. You will never have another body. You will never, ever have the peace of mind and the peace in your heart and soul. You have given your children karma that they have to clear, or they will be in mud. You have never given them an opportunity to have eternal life and heavenly eternal life. To go to whatever planet, whatever realm, to manifest from thought, to have light in their body, to have light in their cells, to have light in their soul, to have light in their dreams, to dream of great things, to dream of great potentials, to dream of great creativities, to dream of great honor. This is the last 3D timeline. It is very pivotal that everybody get this. If you are okay with throwing your children into negative karma and to having yourself never get out of it, to having yourself live forever as a spirit and a soul in mud, where you will never have a body because you cannot have your body if there is no light. Light sustains all life. Go look it up in your science research. God is all life. And if there is no light, you will not have a body. You will not manifest. Light is everything to evolution of your soul. If you choose to cut it out and squash it and hate it and kill it, you will be forever in the lowest ranking of the universe. And if you want to be ranked as being really low vibrational, then that will be your only ranking. You have to get the quantum science, dear lighted ones. It will not be any more than that. You will be ranked in mud. And as long as you know that, go forth and create. Because you will not touch anyone like me. I've paid my dues. I've earned my way. I am that I am, and my speech creates. I'm calling judgment on those that refuse to heal and continually bring hate and harm to those that have said, stop. We do have universal rights, and you will not touch me because your power is not more than mine. When will you get that? I am thine power. That is reclaiming my godliness. And every tower that I have taken on behalf of somebody else's curses and hexes and warping of my mentality and throwing me MK Ultra bullshit, I've reclaimed my power. You will never get it, ever. So your little tactics and your little abuse of technology, your abuse of medical information, your abuse of power on all levels. If anything is not made right, your karma is going to continually every day to be greater and greater. And we've told everyone this. These are just quantum laws. It's not me, the light worker, doing anything. I'm speaking truth. If you choose not to recalibrate to light, if you choose not to recalibrate, your karma will get worse. Because the dissonance between light and dark will get greater. That's just quantum law. If you're in alignment with light, then your karma is becoming more dharma, more good karma. You're blessed with things and you're ranked with things because you're using your light and your energy with honor and benevolence. That's why I am unblemished, because I don't use my gifts to hurt people. It's not rocket science, people. It's not rocket science. We have to get back to basics. Cults and covens and your leaders, please get back to basics. You're walking these people off the edge. And do these people really know it? Do these people really know that the people stand at the front of their church and everything that they say and do that is in such alignment, you're walking these people off the edge? And what are the police and what are the city community leaders doing? Do they care? The practices that are being done, the dark occult practices, if you practice dark occult, it will return to you. Your ancestors will not protect you any further. Your ancestors are walking with me now. So go watch my videos. If you're uneducated and you're not intelligent, go watch my videos or leave my channel. Draw it out. Everything is quantum. You will not continue to hurt people. You will not continue to take money to hurt people. You will not continue to abuse energy. You will not continue to abuse the basic universal laws. You will not continue to abuse basic human rights. There are human rights laws on this planet. And if the governments and the policing are abusing it, and if the cults and the covens are abusing it, you will be called out and you will be plucked. Because you've been told a bajillion times you don't have authority, you don't have the power to abuse basic laws where people can walk around safely without being targeted and human hunted because you just don't like the way they say things. Well, how about you catch up? How about you stop being a criminal? How about you heal some of your wounds, and how about you catch up? Because your guilt and shame is not my problem or my fault. You've been given infinite opportunities to heal. So let's talk about guilt and shame. Every time you have a tower moment, what does that do? It gives you an opportunity to recalibrate, because what you're doing is going to end you up in a very dark space. And your higher self is saying, are you sure you want to go there? Should we give you another tower? Should we give you another failure? Should we give you another block at the wall? Should we give you another flat tire? What should we end up giving you? And we said as our videos, two or three videos ago, at how many towers are you going to be willing to say, maybe I should stop doing what I'm doing? How many towers do you need? Your houses are falling apart, your families are falling apart, your money's falling apart, your bodies are falling apart. How many towers do you really need? You can get more minions to make your dirty work. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get your dues. The people at the very top, the elites, paying your minions. You can get as many minions as you want. You're still gonna get your karma. And you might wake up one day with a disease that can't be incurable and you'll be gone within a week. How do you want your karma to play out? You're not God. You're not a pimp daddy handler. You're not going to tell anybody how they're going to live their life, and you're certainly not going to make anybody like myself bow before you, acting and behaving like you do. I will bow before you if you choose to heal, because that takes bravery. It's not bravery to poison somebody and get them on your side. That's cowardly. So again, warped beliefs of misogyny and weaponization, and you have been entrained, and you have been weaponized, and you have been demoralized, and you have been degraded. The MK Ultra worked on you. It's not going to work on me. And as the government continues it, and anybody else continues such inhumane things, every day your karma is going to get worse, because you are being watched. You think you're watching me? You got a billion more watching you. Make no mistake about that. I belong to the multiverse. You belong to a cult and coven that kills people and thinks you're really powerful and ranked. You're not. You're Epstein minions that take people out to make yourself feel better, and because you've got yourself in a blackmail contract. And you can choose to get out of it. Take your confessions to the police. Because nobody has a right to treat people and innocent healers and innocent leaders the way that we have been treated. It's illegal. And everyone will get their karma, be it now or be it later. You don't get to play Hunger Games on innocent life. You just don't. Judgment's called. We have towers, and however your teams, however your soul, however your higher self is going to give you that tower is going to come to teach you and have you sit down and look at, okay, why did I manifest that tower? What did that tower have to do with? That tower had to do with your ego saying that it had the right to direct somebody else's life. You don't. The first universal law, right use of free will and non-interference. Don't interfere. Don't force yourself into anybody's lane. These people that force themselves into my lanes, I don't know any of them. They don't know me. They don't have any right coming into my lane. They don't. They're coming in my lane because they want something. They want greed. They want to power over me. They want to power over my gifts. They want to suck my spirit, my soul, and they want to be ranked. Completely incorrect beliefs. You're going to be wrong, 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 wrong. You're going to create tower, 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 tower. And if the governments are doing this because they want to weaponize me, because they want me to shut up, because I know too much, because they want me to come and play for their team, why don't you just grow up and be a part of the benevolent movement towards humanity being actually healed, instead of really poor leaders that are doing nothing but inciting separation, violence, and discrimination on the planet? You have two options. Three, really. You can do nothing and your choice will be made for you. You can move into a positive arena of positive light and move in that positive light arena, and to move in the transmuting of your dark density and the deeds that you have done by making it right and bringing truth. That's it. That's the only way you can do this. If you choose not to, you will remain in sludge. You will not have another incarnation, and you will absolutely be dumping whatever you have done onto your children. And you have to be okay with that at the end of every night. Because that alcohol and that drugs, it's not going to hide and it's not going to veil and it's not going to mask what you will have to face. Your soul will face every deed. Every time you've taken someone out, every time you've sacrificed someone, every time you have defamed someone in false accusation and false claims, when they didn't even live in the same city or the same province, and these are all false accusations because the person hasn't even been involved in anything to do with any of you. But you're doing everything you can to enforce entrapment, enforce suicide, enforce insanity, enforce getting locked up. These are illegal enforcements, systematic abuse on every level. It's illegal. And you will be brought down by the universe because they hold the trump card, dear lighted ones. This is higher order law. And if it's abused on the human level, if it's abused on the 3D level, there will be human order come in and make it right. Make no mistake about that. And there will be the invisible moving in every fabric of our lives. And you will absolutely know that there are spirit guides, there are angels, and there is a God. Because you don't have the right to be so egregious and so corrupt to people that are just light. Now we hope you get those lessons, because the windows and the doors are closed. There's no coming back. You have to know this. The doors are closed. And you've just earned your ticket off the Epstein train. So be very careful and be very aware of your plots and your plans and your schemes. You don't have a right to touch another person's life. You just don't. You will not play God over them. And if you choose to continue, it will be wrought with every amount of tower and every amount of force that you have done on anybody else. So be sure of it. It's coming right back to you. That is the quantum law. Go look up the quantum laws, the laws of cause and effect. Go look up that universal law, the law of cause and effect. That's the quantum law we talk about. That's the infinity. What you put out is coming back at you. Watch it. And your ancestors will not protect you. Those towers help you come back into a state of alignment, because you're going to look at yourself, hopefully. This is what you do in Ascension pathwork, is you kind of reflect, okay, why did I manifest what I manifested? If I was manifesting from this experience, from a negative experience, because I didn't know who I was and I didn't love who I am, if you love who you are, you're not going to be doing all of those things that have been done in the cults and covens. You would never take a bribe. You would never be agreeable to take any money from anybody that says, oh, will you come and join our team because we're trying to gather more people to take out an innocent light worker. She knows too much about us, and she's calling out these things because there's crimes going on in the city and nobody's dealing with it. And nobody's actually facing it. And nobody's actually bringing these criminals, to a head. So, there's innocent lives being ruined, and there's innocent lives being taken out, and there's innocent lives being prepared to groom to go back into trafficking. There's illegal cameras going on in people's houses. There's illegal stalking going on. There's illegal proprietorship of taking people's illustrations and works and books and contents. There's been a raping of people on every level, and not one penny has been given to those people that have actually created it and actually done the work and actually done the devotion, actually done the alchemy, actually sat in homelessness, actually got up in homelessness, actually stood and spoke truth, that actually, that's why we're ranked, and that's why we will be lifted. Because we will not be sat down by idolatry and bullying, because that's what you are. Those people that will continue to do this, we're saying point blank, you will have more towers than you will know what to do with, and you will not be able to keep up with it. And just a simple apology is not enough. You have to return the monies that you stole. You have to somehow make it right to the families that you have screwed over. To those cults and covens that think you are going to weaponize innocent, sweet little children. Because you want to play God, and you want to have an island of people just running around pretending that you're God. You ain't God. You're far from it. And your ego will get you into your demise. And thank goodness for that. Because you need to be sat down. And so those towers, dear lighted ones, they have you look at what is in the rubble. What is in the rubble? Who are you? What you exist within and what's going on within you? Can you return back to? I'm always safe because I create with Source Creator. I will always be safe. Source Creator will always be with me. I can look at things from a different perspective so that we can come out in unity and oneness and know that the shadow is something that must be integrated on everybody's behalf. If you don't integrate your shadow, you will not move forward in ascension. It is that simple. And that's about radical self-acceptance and not judging yourself. Therefore, that alleviates and that transmutes shame and guilt. So shame and guilt are those aspects where you were judged and you were ostracized. To be something and behave in a way or create in a way or express yourself in a way that was not of the conformed experience that was in your home. And that's where guilt and shame come from. And then you end up doing things that are out of character, if you will, to the spirit, because you don't want to have those ostracizations and that deep, deep, deep emotional soul pain of the first ostracization in a home, when you were snared at, or you were rolled eyes at, or you were not given love and affection for your creative expression, for your creative godliness, which is the benevolent way that we move about in honoring and valuing and nurturing and nourishing the children of today for their creative expression and who they are. So when it's not being honored and when it's not being upheld because the children do want to express themselves in a unique way, then you're saying that it's not okay. For you to be accepted, you have to look and be like me. You have to be conformed like me. And if you're not, then we're going to bully you and take you out. So there's a big safety issue there that inner child said, I'm not willing to play this safety issue. And sometimes the child will take it upon themselves to, self-harm. This is why many children, do self-harm and self-mutilation, drugs, or take themselves out or go into, again, violence. Because it is interacting with that fight or flight experience of not being able to deal with the guilt and the shame because they've put it on themselves. Because that's the original implication. That was the original implication of, the I am self, the I am presence to what it was being shown in its environment. What is the I am presence to the grander I am that I am? So how can I look at it so that I can see divine feminine masculine energies are balanced and not degrade them and not dehumanize them? And again, we really have to look very seriously at the agendas and the secret societies and the secret implications of why these societies are even being involved with such programs. And why would anything on our planet, to even talk about it, sounds repulsive. And there is millions of dollars that are going into some of these agendas. And these people have literally signed their spirits and their souls away. So again, do you understand your soul's progression? You're not going to come back in another 3D body. There won't be another incarnation. You know that. Again, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of misguidance. There's a lot of misunderstandings. And this is why you have tower moments. We're giving you a tower moment right now to realign and readjust if you so wish. Again, God will offer infinite opportunities for you to get into eternal life. Eternal life or nothing. It's kind of a big deal. And if you don't think that it's a big deal, then you're going to be left on Epstein Earth and you'll be left in the forever mud because there's nothing that will grow without light. And that's just, basic science. You will not grow in an Epstein Earth. There is no light. It will be nothing but trafficking. It will be nothing but demonizing and weaponizing. You've all been shown. So that's the tower you want. That's the tower you will get. You won't take anybody with you that doesn't want to be with you. That's against free will. You won't do it. Even if you poison them and want them to be on your team, you're not going to do it. You're being blocked on every level. There'll be veils and scrambling sheaths so that you're not going to touch their chakras. Even though you think you are, you're not touching it. Your little magic's going back. Your little magic's not working. You were told no. You were told to stop. You were told to leave people alone. And you can tell these people are a part of an agenda, right? Because if all they do is spew hate and all they do is spew and tell you how ugly you are and how crazy you are and how funny you are and all of these things when we're talking about serious human issues that have to be resolved, they're coming on and they're being paid to say and do what they are. Because this is a free will channel, then you would just get off. It's not your juice, get off. It's not your jam to get off. But you're not. They end up staying on and they end up doing degrading comments. Why? Because you're being paid to. You're being paid to hate. Okay, well, I get my right to be who I am, and all your IP addresses are being watched by Interpol, and every single one of you will be charged in some way, somehow, with your karma. Ancestors and the guides of all of these people. It's been years and years and years since I have been ongoingly targeted and dehumanized by these people that play ignorance on the other side. Please create, from this point forward, immediate karma. I will not accept any more. So tower moments, please. Thank you. Your soul's blueprint has specific themes that it's going to work with. And if you're not in alignment of your soul's blueprint, you're going to get towers, because those towers are meant to realign you, and you're meant to sit and reflect. And there's been lots of really great books out there that have been written on the profundity of synchronicities. When you look back on a tower, you can see how that tower served you in many different ways, because you weren't necessarily, again, making love with somebody that you actually love. So that's a tower moment. So getting an STD is a tower moment, because you manifested it from not taking your life force with great honor and responsibility. Or getting somebody pregnant that didn't want to be pregnant if you're a man. Well, you were impaling energies that weren't to the highest of her benefit, so you have to be responsible now. So again, your karma can work out in an infinite number of ways, right? So don't blame anybody, they're your actions. So take owner and account for it. That's how you become a master. Own and accept all of your deeds. And again, anybody in the police force that are meant to uphold the law and protect and serve, anybody that's meant to, in the judicial systems that's meant to protect and serve, if you are not protecting the innocent, if you're not serving the innocent, and if you are doing illegal things, if you are absolutely know that there are false claims and accusations, and you are bringing damage and detriment to families through child services or through false claims and false accusations or false arrests, you know that your karma will be tenfold. I'm stating that right now. Ancestors of the legions, the Most High, secret societies, that's now the law. You're going to get karma tenfold if you continue to abuse people, abuse energy, and think that your agenda is far greater than everybody else's. That's a given. And so we're signing off on that part, because we want to understand that tower moments help us recalibrate. Tower moments help us come into a higher alignment of who am I now, and recalibrate with your higher self, recalibrate with all that you are. Was it 10, 11? So I have a few more minutes. So again, tower moments, for the most part of why Source Creator and your teams create those tower moments, because they want you to go within and do greater self-love and greater self-respect. They want you in that higher experience of loving yourself enough to know that, yes, you can surrender into the divine source plan for you, your divine source soul blueprint. And so your tower moments are going to help keeping you aligned to those greater aspects of yourself, as long as you're asking yourself the question and changing your behaviors. If you're going to continue your behaviors, then you're going to continue in the negative karma, and you're just going to the source is going to let go and just let you keep manifesting yourself into hell. And as we said the other day, that the hell is not really what people have been taught and told. It's this burning place. It's not burning. It's actually just mud. That's what it is. It's a realm of mud. And you don't move because there's no light in it. So you don't have a body. You just sit in a place of darkness. That's what that is. So because you're multidimensional beings, your towers will hit in multidimensional ways. It might be a physical tower. It might be a mental tower. It might be a sexual tower. It might be a spiritual tower. It might be an emotional tower. So any of these towers are available for the realignment and for the teaching and for the opening of a soul lesson. So you need to sit down and do your soul work. If you're getting towers every day, your spirit guides and your spirit soul are doing as much as it can to help you learn that lesson. Why are you doing what you're doing? Learn the lesson, and then you can move on. If you're not learning the lesson, you're refusing to learn the lesson, you're still, continuing that dark pattern, then your spirit guides are just going to keep manifesting towers for you, because you're not getting the lesson. You need to sit down and work it out. What am I learning physically? What am I learning mentally? What am I learning emotionally? What am I learning spiritually and sexually? How can I integrate this as a part of me now? And you get to integrate that aspect of the soul, right? And then you get to realign. These are new social conformities, if you will, where everybody gets to align in their unique Christhood, their unique authenticity. They get to express themselves who they are, and everybody stay out of everybody's lane. That's the beauty of oneness. Nobody has to do things your way. Nobody has to do things in the appropriateness of you, right? It's a misnomer. So again, the recalibrations, the realignments, and they're focusing again at the heart space. So you always have a tower moment that is sometimes unfortunate, but it does activate at the core level of that one tower. It will activate you into activating your heart. And it will activate you into appreciation of those that have been around you, that have given their best, and you've chosen to abuse. So again, that recalibration of that tower can be anything. That tower can be easily won and moved through, or the tower can be very complicated. So it's going to be important that you give your children and the ones that you're playing these games with, give them the fullest identity of information so that if you get lost, then the children know where to go and who to call. Right? You always have to be responsible about your movement on the planet and caring for the little ones, not trafficking them and selling them. And so again, the tower moments will remove and help you wake up to what's been going on in your field that you've refused to look at, that your spirit guides and source creator have been saying, okay, it's time to wake up now. You know, at what point are you going to, you know, get off the the black magic train? Because it is affecting you and it's affecting your children. It's affecting what happens to you next. So towers always bring out a forced outcome for you to look at what has been and what you have been doing. So again, the vibration of what you've been doing, and to take advantage of how many are within the collective that are moving about certain practices or hobbies, and they're not paying any attention and have any connection with who they are as a spirit. So it's okay that you have these extracurricular hobbies and activities, but your connection with spirit is everything. It's everything. I would not have survived. I would not be here without the stuff that I've taught and practiced. So there's always the internal infinite, and within the internal infinite, you're always going to be given little towers and little moments to readjust. And again, those towers can be huge and magnificent and sometimes unshakable. There's no way you're going to get out of it. And then there's towers that you can move and navigate around as they're coming towards you, because you've been told and you know. At a gut level, everybody knows that there's stuff coming. And so you got to give yourself that honor to say, yeah, okay, how can we move through this, right? And give other people the chance and opportunity to say, no, they don't want to be with you on this journey. They've done their work. Why would they come back and do more work with you? Especially if you were one of the ones and the head ones and the primary ones that was abusing her. No, that's a hell no. So as long as you can grade, Gary, as long as you're okay having it go on the floor and having it do what it does, that's up to you, right? Unless it's a medical condition. But again, you need to inform those that you say you love, because hiding and keeping secrets is not going to be the way to do it. Okay? So there's a spirit right here that's talking to me. So we've got a couple of minutes left. So just know, anybody that wants to book an Ascension session so that we can talk about your clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizant, clairalience, which is smelling, you know, when you're smelling things, when nobody's there, you know. And those are usually, as I said before, if you have clairaudience or psychometry and you can touch things and you can have those energies transfer in objects, you can read the energy story in objects or in the smells. Those are usually, for me, this is just my work and what I know. It's usually a mediumship skills. They're opening you up to your mediumship. And so that's one of your soul theme gifts that you can move on and you can start practicing. So my ascension sessions open you up to the guides that you're working with. It opens you up to your soul's blueprint. Hello, sweetheart. Your soul's blueprint. And as you're opening up yourself to your soul's blueprint, then you have access to understanding towers at a godly level, right? You can manifest a tower and be very responsible and mature about it and say, oh, okay, I can navigate this, because you will get better at navigating towers. You have to navigate towers because your teams really want to take you on an exciting path. Sometimes you do have to do detours in the darker realm so that you can work with the mystery schools and you can actually start reclaiming the dark mysteries, because it does help with the navigation of, again, alchemy of what's been going on our planet. We have to understand what's been going on, look at it and face the tower, and then integrate it and alchemize it. So the towers are always going to serve you. The towers will also, the benefit of the opposite end of the tower is that it does activate your gifts and skills on the positive side of the infinity. And so those gifts and skills that activate from a very, very challenging and very, difficult tower, however the tower unfolds, it does have its opposite, offering as a gift or a skill or a talent or a knowing or a wisdom or an intelligence. It's going into your Akash, right? So you're going to earn that wisdom and that growth, as we said, the bandwidth of the 13th dimension. The bandwidth of the 13th has great stretch, right? Because there's so much experience they've learned. That's why if you ask 13th dimensional experiences of all the realms, whereas somebody in a third dimension doesn't have any experience except just their low vibrational 3D experience, right? So as you get higher in dimension, you get more stretch because there's more experience. That's your godliness, that's your consciousness. When you're consciously aware of it, you're saying, okay, I get this. I'm a conscious creator. I'm aligned with the conscious creator. Then you can let go of those very damaging energies of like guilt and shame. That guilt and shame is like, you're not good enough for the person that wants you just as equally, right? Those ones that you call in as soulmates, and I've had some wonderful, connections with people in the last couple of weeks, with Spirit preparing me to be in front of more and more people. So I'm getting used to, because I do have some social anxiety because just of the energies and how sensitive I am to energy. And of course, how harming people have been in the past. So I'm learning to navigate those towers on my level. They're smaller towers. I'm kind of done the big, huge, PTSD towers, but there will be many people that will have to go through their PTSD towers because they have just done so much harm. And those towers, please celebrate them, because it's God's final chance and final offering for you to alter course. And so face it. Face the towers. It's God's opportunity for you to move into eternal life, if you so choose. So God is always giving you opportunities, and sometimes those towers are it. And so I might come on later this afternoon. It depends if they have time in the scheduling, because I do want to do open messages. I want to practice my gifts and skills. So I wanted to do celestial open messages, systems of light open messages, and we wanted to do messages for the collective. And if you guys wanted to ask me any questions, then you can ask it to me. So I might have somebody in the chat room, if they want to sign on, to be that person that vets the questions. Because usually when I'm channeling, I have my eyes closed. So I'm not paying attention, and I really want to practice my gifts today. So we wanted to do that. So just understand, sometimes when you're opening up to those gifts, as we said earlier, because we're moving into this new ascension cycle, you're going to be feeling, which we talked about at the very beginning of the show, the multidimensionality. So it's going to be like this really quasi-physical getting used to, everything being, multidimensional, and you're kind of moving with it in this very mashy up way. And it's going to feel a little bit more liquid, because we want that. We want that malleability, because there's going to be those softer, really profound celestial energies. I've really felt it. So I had a vision the other day of my Syrian beings. They were so beautiful. And they looked just like us. They had a human face, but their eyes were really, really far apart, like fish eyes. And so, they're very sweet beings. And I think they were amphibious. So they kind of looked like humans, but they were in the water. So because they had adaptation. We always learn about adaptation in science, right? And so as we're moving higher in consciousness, we're going to be adapting as well. And so again, that's just a part of our succession. We're finding, as we talked about earlier, the translateral experiences, and the children being born nowadays are far more translaterally exclusive than we've ever been, because they're meant to ignite and trigger those in the previous generations to heal, because there shouldn't be so much discrimination on what anybody does. Stay out of their lane. Let them explore who they are. It's a part of their soul's evolution. What we do need within the creative collective is a higher understanding of what translateral expression is, and how some people come in with such great fluidity between their divine feminine and masculine energies, regardless of whatever body casing they grow within. And then on a separate issue, once they're comfortable with that higher vibrational, dictionary type meaning, is when it's higher vibrationally, and from a 5D perspective, as from a discriminatory judgment, it doesn't really know what's going on 3D perspective, that trans experience can then, in a separate conversation, say, this is what I'm exploring right now. I'm really exploring it more of a divine masculine, this energy, because I'm learning how to, I'm learning how to take the wheel. I'm learning how to create more will, through my divine soul's blueprint. I'm learning how to be more of a divine masculine in my divine feminine body. So I want to explore these things sexually. That's how you maintain balance. And it doesn't become such a dichotomy of, again, judgment or guilt or shame. We want to really let go of guilt or shame because it really does a lot of damage to your progression in your soul. And really, it really holds you back from self-love and self-appreciation. So anytime you're feeling guilt or shame, just go back in and feel appreciation and knowing, right? And for those divine masculines that have been doing their work and been doing their healing, and knowing that if you're going to be coming into a soul connection and a soul partnership that has been, kind of vetted by God, and you've been preparing yourself for that. Unless the person has said, they're not interested, which I've said to many times to those people from Calgary, I'm not interested in any level of a reconnection because I've grown beyond it. I don't want any connections with anybody from Calgary. So going forward, those people that are interested in being with you and connecting with you, you don't have to worry about the shame and the guilt that, they're not going to be as into you as you are them. So you can let the guilt and shame go and just fall in love with yourself. Guilt and shame is on the negative side of self-acceptance and self-love. And so just know that. And guilt and shame is very steeped in dogmatic belief systems. So again, anytime guilt or shame come up, release it right away. Acknowledge, you do your 3 A's, acknowledge it, accept it into your story. I accept this as part of my story, and I get to allow something new. And then alchemize it with intention. I choose to release these energies because I choose to be self-loving and self-accepting. And do your alchemy, right? And just know that people want to be with you at a soul level just as you do them. If you have that magnetic attraction to somebody and that magnetic pull, they're pulling you in just as you're pulling them in. So just know that. That's why you always don't have to worry about doing magic, right? God knows what God's doing. Natural order will take care of it, right? So we say, we love you, dear light ones. Anybody wants a session or a donation, please, that would be wonderful. I would love your donations and any sessions you want to get to collaborations, please just contact me. I might come back on later today for more messages because I want to do my message. I want to practice my gifts. So we say love and thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, and make sure that you keep on top of your skills and your maintenance and clearing out your fields. It's so important to maintain your balance right now. And we love you so much. Bye.